Greetings.
Yeah, greetings, Alpha D.
Yes, I Rasta. Welcome to Alaroots.
Give thanks.
So, please present yourself, Brethren. This is on today Alaroots show. We have a super special interview with a great Rasta reggae dub activist from Akashic Records in the United States. He's called Mike B. So greetings, Mike. Can you present yourself and tell us a bit how you came to reggae music and to Rastafari?
Yeah, for sure. And before I do that, I just like to say, Alpha D, give thanks for the opportunity to come, speak on the show and present some of the music, some of the productions that we've been working on over the past few years. So, as you said, my name is Mike B. I'm living in the United States, Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm the founder of Akashic Records. I came into reggae music around the year 93, 94. I was living in Florida, and some of my young friends and we were 17 at the time. Some of my friends started listening to Bob Marley, and through that, I felt something powerful, and I wasn't sure exactly what it was, but it felt divine, and so wanted to further explore that. And Bob led to Peter, led to Bunny, led to Culture, led to Burning Spear, and it just kept going and going. And yeah, that's how. I wouldn't say I discovered reggae. I would say,
progressively started going deeper into the
yeah.
Cool, man. And how did you start? When did you start making music?
Oh yeah, okay. So now that would probably go back. Well, I'm not a rhythm builder, right? And I'm not a singer. At least the music that as Akashic Records is not me playing the instruments or me singing the songs. So I'm more of a traditional producer in that regard. Over the years I experimented with making my own dubs, but that's not really my specialty. So as far as starting the label. The label has been around for about 3 years, but it's been more like 5 years that I've been involved with various labels. I would call it like an apprenticeship. Chris Naftali and I did some work on his label Positive Vibes, did some work with Ross Kush on Black Redemption, did some work with Humble Tafari on his African Blood label. Was working with Ras Sahir in kind of a supporting role behind Blackheart Warriors label, and eventually all my brethren were like, "You need to start a label." You're doing all this stuff, and it's time for you to start your own label. And I'm like, nah. I'm more of a behind the scenes kind of person, but
so eventually, people understand. Yeah. You started Akashic Records because there's a big conscious dub, roots reggae dubs scene in the USA.
Yeah. Although compared to, you're in Canada, bro, but yeah. You have your pulse on the European scene too, right?
Yeah, but I mean, there's not much. People don't know so much about reggae coming out of the US.
That's true. Historically. New York has been a hot spot for reggae, and Wackies, and there have been labels in the U.S. There have been studios in the U.S., but yeah, the U.S. is kind of underground, and there's some amazing roots groups over the years that have come out of the U.S. However, yeah, I mean, there is a group of dub activists in the U.S., and you'll find them in New York, and you'll find them in California, and other spots, but I wouldn't call it big, bro, to be honest. I wouldn't call it big.
Yeah. So you were with the where do you live?
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
And so it's in Atlanta, Georgia that you were with some brethren that made music?
Okay, so I'll fill in a little bit of the story between, being 17 or 18 and now 23 years later.
Okay.
Dealing with Akashic Records, because there's, you got to kind of connect the dots a little bit. So I don't think I fully answered your first question about, discovering reggae and Rastafari. So discovering Rastafari or learning about Rastafari was a little bit after learning about reggae. So listening to Bob Marley, feeling that kind of divine vibe, but not really knowing what it was. And then hearing Bob Marley talk about Haile Selassie, and then doing the research on Haile Selassie, and then coming to grips with the idea that Haile Selassie is God. And for me, that took time to honestly grapple with, right? Like, as a young person, the idea that a man is God was like, I just didn't believe it, Mm-hmm. But then, I read more and more about His Majesty, reason with Rastaman. Down in Florida, there's a lot of Caribbean Ras and even some, American Ras. There's tons of Caribbean people in part of Florida where I live. And through reading the scriptures and studying yoga and, studying the various wisdom traditions and reason with Rastaman and listening to Rasta music, an overarching reality started to surface that, we do have access to the divine, and we don't need, a middleman to have that access. And to the extent that I could see my own divinity, and I could see the personality and the works of His Majesty, and not just from his own writings, like when you read the autobiography, but from his contemporaries, and then from people who didn't know anything about His Majesty, the things they say, and then connecting to the Bible. And after a time, it's undeniable, what the Rastaman is saying. So that is kind of like how I started to identify with Rastafari. Now, going through the years, becoming a reggae DJ, selector, starting to become an activist as far as organizing events, not only DJing at events, now organizing events. So back in 2012, 2013, and 2014, we organized something in the United States called the USA Roots Reggae Dub Expo, where we gathered the kind of Rasta sound systems from around the country for various sessions. We did one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. And the next 2 years, we focused on the West Coast because that's where we got the best response. So now having a network of Rasta sound systems and producers and vocalists, and having more and more dub plates, and having my brethren say, you really got to start a label, it was just a natural progression. So it's like you have this unreleased music that deserves to be released, so you try something.
So,
and that's how it started.
Okay, so did you record people singing? Or you were just promoting? You were helping organize concerts and stuff.
Yeah, the Roots Reggae Dub Expo. I was like an organizer for that. You could say.
Yeah.
Yeah, like handling like literally we had meetings, to plan it, and flew people in, rented venues, did all the promotions around people coming to the event. And then kind of helped to manage the event too. It's a lot of effort. It's like throwing a dance is not a simple thing. And when there's multiple sound systems, you gotta make a schedule, stick to a schedule.
So that's when it started that you were like, okay, well, I'm gonna help promote and release reggae music. So you decided to on your own create the Akashic Records, or what?
Yeah. Well, that's true. Like, Akashic Records is my label, but it's also a collective, right? You can't do something like this by yourself. So, I mean, many singers, many producers, and many supporters. Is what Akashic Records is made of.
I agree. And so tell me a bit about the creation of this name, Akashic Records, and the type of music that you play.
Yeah, give thanks. So the term Akashic Records was first coined by the Theosophists, which was a spiritual group. You may have heard of the name Madame Blavatsky, and then later referenced in the Aquarian Gospels of Jesus, which is you may have seen, it's a book that talks about Jesus' supposed life in India. In any regard, you will see the Akashic Records described as a spiritual region where all events, past, present, and future, are available. So this is a spiritual region that any human being can access, where kind of the veil of time is lifted, and one can see, all events. And I was always interested in that concept, and it really went along with some of the other spiritual concepts that I've been studying. So it's really a play on words, right? However, I've been challenged by some of, I would say, my mentors to be able to connect the Akashic Records to the Rastafari history. And so I'm not sure I'm fully prepared to do that on this interview, but it's no mystery to those who are familiar with Rastafari that the Rastafari elders and the Rastafari people of today have a tendency to be very spiritual and I don't know if attain is the right word, but experience pretty phenomenal spiritual heights, yes, as is indicated by the music, the literature, the reasoning, the overstanding that you find among Rastafari.
So would you say it's similar to the concept of the ether?
Yes, brethren. Akashic comes from the Sanskrit word Akash, meaning air or ethers.
Voila. No. So it makes sense. The how everything is written in time. Everything, nothing disappears. So and that's why also I like to believe that the lives of all the prophets and His Majesty is written in the Akashic Records.
Yes,
I mean, it's there, whether people believe it or not. History knows, Jah knows.
Yeah. So check this out, Alpha D.
Yes.
A lot of people know what it's like to have either a vision or a dream that comes true later, or deja vu, right? There are times when the time-space continuum kind of breaks down, and it's mystifying to the human being. So there must be something else going on.
Yeah.
So man, I totally agree.
It's interesting. It's really interesting the way that you link these concepts. Because myself, I'm studying yoga as well.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. And you have on your label a beautiful vinyl called by King Alpha, a tune called Yoga.
Yeah, Tennis Dylan. Yeah, so I mean, this is a topic that you'll find reason about online, and it's so first off, you can find evidence that His Majesty practiced yoga, right? This is written. Second off, it is no mystery the connection between Indian spirituality and Rastafari. I mean, ganja came to Jamaica, they say, from India, the Ganges. Dreadlocks are worn by Indian sadhus, they call them jata. There are so many connections in the mystics of those two faiths, or of those two spiritualities. It's undeniable. You have some people that will say, you have some people that will deny that and say, no, Rasta doesn't deal with this and that, and that's fine, brethren. But to me, it's undeniable. And the Sadhu tradition, the tradition of renouncing the world, Babylon, to seek spiritual enlightenment. I mean, it's so clear, it's so clear.
Mm-hmm. Word.
Yeah. So yoga is a track that, Tenna Stellan and King Alpha teamed up, which is essentially talking about, utilizing yoga for spiritual benefit.
Let's listen to this tune.
Yes, I.
Are you down?
Of course, Bridget.
Yes, I. So we're gonna listen to this track, Yoga. Boom.
The kingdom of Jah is spread all over the world, but most of us don't see it. Woo woo, yeah, look ya. This one is called yoga, and it's good for you and me. This one is called yoga, it's good for the spirituality. This one is called yoga, it's good for my brothers and sisters. Yeah, yoga, it's a connection to Jah, the Most High. With it is where it all starts from, like chakra meditation, stretching, exercising, releasing tension. Cause inside and outside, it must be cared for. Yes, in this life, I'm a soul adventurer. Yoga, it's good for you and me. So I just got yoga, good for the spirituality. Yoga is good for my brothers and sisters. Yoga, it's a connection to Jah, the Most High. Was practiced by Yeshua, Yosef. It was practiced by the emperor. So let us take note. First things first. Seek ye the kingdom of Jah, and all things will be added unto thee. Where it all starts from. Meditation, stretching and exercising, releasing tension. Yoga, it's good for you and me. Yoga is good for the spirituality. This is called yoga, good for my brothers and sisters.
Remember to yoga, man.
It's a connection to Jah.
Every morning.
Yoga.
Deep breathing.
It's good for you and me.
Yeah. Greet the sun.
Yoga. It's good for us.
Stretch the body. Yes, I. Give thanks to the King of Kings for a brand new day. Ras Flacco, enough respect, maximum respect. This is a special show. Akashic Records, enough respect. And so after listening to this awesome track, we really discovered that Akashic Records is something, is a label, is a special label talking about original themes. You work with a couple of very special artists that we've been playing on Alaroots for a while, like Fikir Amlak,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah.
Is he near you or what?
Well, Fakir generally stays in California, but he travels quite a bit as well.
Okay.
So one of the things about the U.S., I don't know what we call ourselves: dub community, Rudical community, roots reggae community, Rasta community that's into the music. We're all pretty close and pretty tight. There's not so many of us, so we tend to know each other. And Fakir's been in the zone for many years. And when I was starting the label, I reached out to him, and we have a lot of mutual friends. So we started reasoning, and the connection was immediate. So we started getting different tracks from different producers, and different studios, and recording vocals. And it's really a collaborative effort. Say, okay, here's this rhythm. Here's the kind of thing I envision on it. And Fakir is such a pro. It's very easy for him to take a rhythm and make something happen. So yeah.
So I wanted to play the song Echoes, because it kind of makes us think about those Akashic Records.
Truly, yeah.
Because like things just echo in time.
Yeah.
So if
echoes from ancient time.
If you want, we can listen to that tune.
Yeah, man. Go through.
I just can't help but feel it. What was hidden must reveal it. One Jaja now.
Tune into Alaroots.
One Jaja. Echoes from ancient time when I realize Rastafari light. Yeah. Echoes from ancient time. Man arise, woman arise. Yeah. Echoes from ancient time when I amplify Rastafari vibe.
Bless. If you're listening to this tune,
Ancient time, man arise, amplify. Yeah. When I hear the rhythm, I hear an ancient song. It reminds me of the glory of Mount Zion. This sound it is a warrior. This sound it is a soldier. This sound it is a warrior. Yeah, echoes from ancient times when I realize Rastafari light. Yeah, echoes from ancient time. Man arise, woman arise. Yeah, echoes from ancient time when we amplify Rastafari vibe. Yeah, echoes from ancient time. Amplify, ja amplify. Yeah.
oneness, brothers and sisters.
So basement people queer. Symbol crush like system shake. I chop them like a blade. Snare exploding at the place. Kick them like a freight train. River move them out to space. Delay to make the dumpy flame. And the keys open the gate. So many lions in the place.
talking about ancient times.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's you're an
I
ancient
don't know
man?
about that, Brethren. I mean, who can say what the soul is? I mean, it's a good question to ask. You know, who am I? You know, what is the soul? Why am I here? What is life? You know, what animates my body, my goodie? These are good questions to ask. I'm not going to tell you that I have answers. Am I ancient man, Brethren? I don't know.
It was
Really
kind of a hint towards another song by Fikr Amlak, Ancient Man, that we're gonna listen a bit later when we're gonna talk about some the Rastafari elders. So tell me, Mike, what's your work as a record label? Like,
was there more to that question?
No, I just don't really imagine like what's your everyday, you know, like work and.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So first, I think we should direct people to the website. USA Roots Reggae Collective.
Website. Yes. Okay. USA Roots Reggae Collective.bandcamp.com is where that's our retail site for labels like Akashic Records, Black Heart Warriors Records, some Black Redemption. Peter Lionheart's label is represented there. Understanding. Chris Naftali's label is represented there. Yantra Records. Ross Tio's records are represented there as well. And those are all USA-based productions and producers and singers and labels and sound systems.
So when we order from there, it's not to you.
What do you mean me?
I mean, Akashic Records doesn't sell all these vinyls.
That is a collective. The USA Roots Reggae Collective is a collective of many of I and I.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so there's several tunes which you released. They're like there are a few tunes like how many? Like 4 or 5?
There's about 10 projects out there right now, including a couple of CDs. There's a Fakir CD. There's a next Fakir CD that we contributed to. There's two 12 inches, and I would say, let's see, maybe 5 or 6 or 7 inches. And there's 2 7 inches at press right now. Maybe there's 10 projects out.
Okay. So which one is the first one that you released?
The first Akashic Records release was in combination with Ross Tio. Okay. And it was a joint release between Akashic Records and Forward Bound Records. The tune is called Jehovah.
Jehovah. Yeah, you sent me this mystical tune. I heard this tune.
Yeah.
A strong tune.
Yeah, so the story there is, you know, Ross Tio and I, you know, we're all in the same kind of sphere. We all, you know, we hear each other's productions, we see each other, we reason, we talk on the phone and stuff. And this tune stood out from Ross Tio's work because for me, I felt like there was almost like a desperation in it, like when you're at the end of your rope and you're asking God for help, you know, and that just really moved me. So I told him that I wanted to release it, and he was receptive to that. And, you know, he said, ultimately we made it a joint release, which was symbolic. You know, he and I are close to this day. So I give thanks.
Wow. So that's for number 1. So I guess we'll listen to a little piece of this track just so people realize a bit what's the first release.
Yeah, give thanks.
Okay.
Jah set the judgment to judgment, Jah read them ready. stepper, creation builder, the earthful ruler. Ever little Jah, ever loving Jah, I'm man called Jehovah. Ever faithful Jah, ever loving Jah, I'm a big Jehovah. Trash on the land of the living, I soul must stand by the gate. Jah, Jah rule over Eden, slew them, war them must spread. Coming and loving, giving strong and steady, like the royal family. Original king, God am my king, negus me praise and best of me honor, yeah. Ever faithful Jah, ever loving Jah, praying Jehovah. Ever loving Jah, Jehovah, 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 yeah, yeah, Jehovah, ever faithful Jah, oh yeah, yeah. Dwell in the house of the living, and feet must stand by the gate. Jah, Jah sent the judgment to judgment, Jah them slew them, we say. Coming and loving, giving because Almighty is great. A militant stepper, creation builder, earthful ruler, Jehovah, Jehovah, Jehovah.
And so, what was the second release?
Yeah, the second release is a tune with Zebby Blacks that came out of Unitone Studios, Ruben Addis out of the UK, and this tune is called Roots Music. And there's a story to this tune as well. Years and years ago, I saw a video that Ruben Addis had posted from like a house party he had thrown. Okay. And he was running through different tunes in the house party, and one of them was Roots Music by Zebby Blacks. And man, that tune was just so wonderful and had such a special feel to it. So I reached out to Ruben, and I was like, I first asked him if he had it just as a dub plate, just so I could hear it. And he was like, well, honestly, I had a hard drive crash and that tune is gone. And I was like, oh, okay, well, thanks. And sometime later, he sent me some files. He's like, I rebuilt the tune because you were interested in it. and I heard it and I was blown away. And I told him I wanted to release it. He was receptive to that. So that's how that came about.
Okay. So Zebby, this was, you were in contact with Ruben Addis or Zebby Black?
Yeah. Ruben Addis. So
big up Ruben Addis, which we really love, because he's just such an inspiration vibe, and he always keeps it. Now he's calling himself the rebel, the Ethiopian.
Yes.
Yeah, man, full of message. One of the elders of the UK dub scene that I really appreciate, love. A lot. So we're going to listen to this production, second release on the Akashic Records, Roots Music. that's the beauty, I guess, of dub. Would you say that? What do you hear by roots music?
In the tune itself, what do I hear in it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or roots music generally.
Generally, what's for you roots music?
Roots music, it has so many levels. In one level, it's music that would keep someone rooted to the earth in their organic, spiritual being. In the context of Rastafari, roots music means the roots of Rastafari, which is Africa, which is, you can't talk about Rastafari really without talking about slavery. And so the roots of Rastafari is the cry, the absolute need for freedom, for redemption, from slavery. You know, forcibly taken away from Africa to Jamaica and other parts of the Caribbean. It's such a massive rift and chasm, and Rastafari represents coming out of that chasm and spiritually becoming free before hopefully materially becoming free. And that has yet to be accomplished, you know, both in terms of material freedom for the descendants of slavery. I mean, we see that here in the United States, you see that in the Caribbean, I would imagine in Canada you'll see that. And you see it in Europe. So if you're going to talk about Rastafari, you have to be honest about Black liberation. You just have to. Mm-hmm. So yeah, roots, Africa.
Rastafari. Yes, So, I guess for I, the roots also implicates on one side kind of the idea of the biblical teaching, you know?
Yes, I.
Like that connect, but not the Bible as people hear it, you know, in the Catholic Church or, well, I mean, you know, and the Vatican Bible vibe, more on like the idea of the scriptures, the Orthodox linkage to the history and the culture of the Orthodoxy. So I mean, because there's still that teaching in the music, in roots music, you know, all the kind of the lessons and the inspirations that actually bring us to look towards the Ethiopian culture, which is a Christian Orthodox culture. And so I'm actually linking this so we can talk about the release Lake Tanna.
Scene, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
risk your life and now.
Another by Fikir Amlak. So, can you say a few words about that release?
Yeah, Lake Tana. So this is one where I had some rhythms from Ross Muffet, and Fakir is cool how he works. You know, he'll have some rhythms, and it doesn't take him long. Is the amazing thing. He might have a rhythm for a day, he might have it for 3, he might have it for 5, but before long he'll tell you that he has his concept. So when he came back with Lake Tana, everybody was blown away. Me, Muffet. I think iNatural was helping, you know, because iNatural has been a mentor and has helped with a lot of things. So yeah, man, Lake Tana and the dubs.
iNatural is in UK.
Yes.
But still, there's like helping each other out and.
In this world of Facebook and Skype, you know, email, it's all connected.
That's really blessed, man.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that. You know, like I'm really happy to hear that. I think that's really one of your like it's good on you. You know, that there's a story of a Rasta Brethren link up, you know, and collaboration behind the tunes.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's special. And we're lucky. I mean, how can I say this? There are like a man like iNatural, and not to like hope it's not embarrassing for the brethren, but within Rastafari there are certain people that I would call carry the tradition, like the living tradition.
The livity.
What's that, brethren?
The livity.
Yes.
The lifestyle.
Livity. The life. And within that life, from if you become someone who really lives your life, it sounds so simple, but there are awarenesses and
I feel you, yeah, and iNatural, yeah.
Awarenesses and abilities, and I don't want to say it's dangerous to talk about powers or cities as they call the yoga tradition, but going around the elders, and I've seen it many times, I'm sure you've seen it, brethren, but when you meet these people that really carry the tradition, it's special. It's like a blessing to be around them. Yeah. Literally.
Yeah. I've been in the presence of iNatural, and it's for that reason, you know, that he's one of the ones who put me on I love the reggae music so much, you know, so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, les grands frères, the big brothers, as we would say in Africa. Yeah.
Exactly. And I just counted, bro, because you were asking. I just counted. There have been 3 CDs from Akashic. One of them is not actually out on CD. It's only out on digital. That's Rastio's brother Daniel and Dub. Maybe we'll put that on CD. There have been 2 12-inches. That's I Am That I Am by Fakir Amlak and the Yoga Lion symbol that we talked about. Yeah. And then there have been 6 7-inch records, and there are 2 more 7-inch records coming. So that's a total of 11 currently, and 2 more coming.
So tell me a bit about this. I guess we listened to Lake Tana a bit before, but tell me a bit about Rastio, because I really love Rastio. We listened a bit of his track Jehovah.
Yes.
I know the listeners of the radio show have been listening to his tunes like Togetherness and Enter and enough tune like that. So tell me about this CD with Rastio. I don't know about it.
Yeah, well, it's so Tio has a lot of music, and at one point, this is a couple of years back, he had brother Daniel and dub, which is the dub for his, obviously it's the dub for his album Brother Daniel, and he actually approached me about releasing it on Akashic, and it's still, it's actually still in, I would say this is halfway in the pipeline because it's not out physically, but it's just out digitally. One of the things about Tio is that, Tio's been to Jamaica. He has incredible links within the reggae music world, and he will get the top players, even from back in the day, from the 70s, to play on his tracks. In addition to working with more modern producers of the day. Yeah, so Tio, good brethren, mystical brethren.
So this album with brother Daniel Dub.
Yeah, brother Daniel and Dub. If you go to USA Roots Reggae Collective, you can purchase the WAV files, but it's not on physical copy as of yet. And this interview, I believe, is going to air on Friday, May 5th.
Yep.
So that particular website has a promotion running for 4 days after this airs, where we're offering 15% off everything on the site. And we're doing that because we just loaded a bunch of new music up there. Roots High Tech music, iWarrior music, and other labels from the UK. So we've taken a step beyond just our own productions now, and we're offering other producers offerings as well. So the 15% off is like a promotional thing to hopefully drive more attention to the site.
So all the Alaroots reggae dub lovers, you should totally go and do like me, USI Roots Reggae Collective.bandcamp.com, and you got 15% on all these awesome roots and culture dub works, and it's precious. We know how precious it is, and especially in North America, because in UK there's so much, in Europe there's so much, but North America, I guess, are you one of the only? These are all the big USA labels, but are there any other ones, or I don't know?
There are some other ones. Sister Amanda has Taitu Records.
Taitu
out of New York. Yeah, out of New York and Jamaica, and then there's some reissue labels coming out of New York. Our labels have a certain affinity, and that's why we've kind of stuck together. Now, very important, Alpha D, on the website, to get your 15% off, you have to use the code USA Roots at checkout. Again, that's USA Roots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And so, that's awesome. Just before we listen to a few, I guess we could totally do that now. You have some, there's some unreleased stuff coming out, right?
Gosh. Unreleased. Yeah, well, yes, there are some pre-releases. There are some things at press right now. There are 2 projects at press as we speak.
Okay.
There's a 7-inch from one of our brethren, Ross Amlak, who incidentally is also a top masterful painter. The paintings that you saw on Yoga and Lion Symbol, that's the man's work.
No, I know Ras Amalak, actually. I'm realizing he does a great walls.
Yes, I.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, I.
So you know this brethren?
Oh yeah. Ras Amlak is part of the crew,
Wow.
And he's also a chanter, among other art forms. And so this is one of his first releases. He just had one come out on Peter Lionheart's Understanding, literally within the past couple of strongs. It's in Europe right now. So this one is produced by Jasonic, a European producer, and this, I believe, will be his very first vinyl out on the market. The tune is called Everyday. There were at least 7 versions of this tune, and we picked the one that we thought would have the most commercial appeal.
So this is are these for sale or what, the waves?
Yes. So another part of Akashic Records is that, when you talked about unreleased, I was kind of like, because there are 100 unreleased projects right now that Akashic has in the vault. And one of the things that we do is supply unreleased music to sound systems, otherwise known as dub plates. So you can link us to inquire about those. There's a sample pack with 100 projects in it, and each of those projects have many cuts behind them.
Because people, don't really know about the whole sound system works, like the behind the scenes of how do sound system have exclusive, unique music. It's because they work with labels and producers, and there's this whole double-8 world that make every sound system unique.
Absolutely, right. Yeah. There's a whole dubplate world, and what I've come to realize working in reggae music is that unreleased reggae is easily 90% of, like, you're only ever gonna hear, if you listen to released reggae, you're only gonna hear 10% of the reggae that's out there. Yo. Because sound systems in the UK have dub plates. They can play all day, all night, just pure dub plates, and they'll never be released. So.
And counting all the tunes that brethren are just singing in the streets,
For real, yeah.
The reggae music that people are just singing to themselves,
For real, yeah. Definitely.
Sin, man. So there's this tune, Rasamlak, Jasonic Every Day. It's how can people purchase this?
Well, right now, if they want the tune pre-release, go to the Akashic Records Facebook page, and you can get there by going to akashicrecordsmusic.com. Or if you're on Facebook, it's a little different. It's CSEE Akashic Records. At the Facebook URL. Send me a message. You can also find us on Instagram. Send me a message. We can work something out, and then
Seeing it's just so people know there's a lot of works coming, and we're gonna listen to a few of these, just a glimpse, which you blessed us with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good, thanks.
So let's listen to a few minutes of this this tune every day. Let's listen to what Ras Amlak has to say. Yes, I am.
Blessed are they who seek your face, who walk within his ways, who enter in his gates. Yeah. Okay. Every day, every day, rise up with your sun, we giving thanks and praise. Thanks with the breath of life and bright sun rays. Thanks with the waters and they eat the same way. We give him praise in the abundance of the fire high grades. Sanctify the cup and make the fire one blaze. Every day, every day, I saw red up on the blaze, I saw me stay. Every day, every day. Whoa, no obstacles we facing on the way. Every day, but our discipline sustained, so I would never go astray. The lion of prevail and him a break every chain. Remove a stumbling block from out of me way. Every day, every day, every day.
And a piece of the dub.
Every day, where the sun or where the rain, I'm seeking spiritual wealth over material gain. Rising.
Can you hear the music, Virgin?
No. Only tiny bit.
Blessed are they who seek your face, who walk within his ways, who enter in his gates. Yeah. Okay. Every day, every day, rise up with your sun, we giving thanks and praise.
Yes, I am.
Yes, sir.
So Ras Amlak, he's a painter as well. Amazing. And so that's one of the tunes. Another one of these next releases is a tune by Akabeka, right?
Yeah, the Akabeka is not in line for release at the moment.
Okay.
Although it's requested quite a lot. That is, if it's gonna be released, it's pretty far back in line. So for right now, I would consider that one just a dub plate. The I Natural Further with Higher Regions, that is another pre-release. That's at the press right now as well.
Okay. So with the Hydra Natural that we were talking about before, and Mighty Prophet.
Yeah, and quick note about that song. So that song was originally released. Well, the original version of that song was released in 1997. So interestingly, now we're in 2017. It's the 20-year anniversary of when that song was originally released. It's gonna be called Further 2016 because it was built last year. But it's a very deep song, and it goes to some of those topics you were touching on earlier, Alpha D, about the roots of Rastafari in Ethiopia and how far it really goes.
And so Hydra Natural brings us further with this new tune. When can people expect to be able to buy this tune?
Yeah, I think Further will start showing up in the European marketplace in about a month's time.
Okay.
Maybe 6 weeks, yeah. Not too long.
So we listen a tiny preview just to make people
yeah, please.
feel ready for this. Yes, let's check this out.
Further than a one can think, further than a one can see.
Alaroots, man. Bring the thing little further, you know?
Let's look into history, and it will tell, oh yes. Let's look into the prophecy, the holy scripture.
Hydra Natural.
Let's look into the teachings. Let's look into the speeches of Niger. Of King. It goes further. 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 Let's look to Ethiopia. In Africa. Let's look to Ethiopia, land of I Father. It goes further. It goes further. It goes further.
Special tune from the African brethren
It goes further.
and sistren,
It goes further.
mama and papa, you know,
Goes further.
Rastafari.
Goes further to when life begun. It goes further to the cradle of civilization. Knock and it shall be open. Seek and you must find. Humanity said the time is now for you to realize. It goes further. It goes further.
Because only one man was found worthy to break open the 7 seals, and it was the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, Christ in his kingly character. Yesaya. Look to Ethiopia for Rastafari guidance. Boom! Special exclusive works. And just so we continue, so people catch the reality vibe of what we're talking about, Akashic Records play roots reality reggae music, but you're also active in helping Rastafari elders, right?
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
So tell us a bit about what you're doing on that level.
Yeah, okay. So I'll go back in time about 10 years ago. Back in the MySpace days, there was a chat group called the Word Sound Power. It was called Word Sound Power. And it was a group that was initially set up by a bro of mine, a bro who's become one of my best friends. His name is Ross Scott. He lives in Seattle. And during that time, some of the best reasonings I'd ever seen in my life, whether online or in person, like serious heights reasonings were happening on the Word Sound Power Collective. Not only heights reasonings, but plenty of disagreements and arguments about some of the religious aspects of Rastafari. And those reasonings, most of the time, stayed diplomatic and progressive. And a very interesting organic phenomenon happened. Once those reasonings had taken place, the group, and there were maybe, I don't know the exact numbers, but there were probably 100 people that visited the group, and there were probably 30 people that were regular contributors to the group. Once the kind of disputes had been settled and there was a general consensus around, philosophy, approach, what should happen, that group actually mobilized and became activists together. So people were already doing things in their own.
So the elders of the movement, the beginners, the beginners in the sense that those who first cited Haile Selassie as a divine incarnation, and those are the elders, the ancients of Rastafari that are in a material need today, and that there's this collective that comes and helps them. Can you tell us a bit about the work of the Word Sound Power Collective?
So, going back to the elders, and a nice segue is I've heard elders say, however you cite His Majesty is the kind of reward you're going to get. So if you cite His Majesty as a king, you're going to get a kingly reward. If you cite His Majesty as God, you're going to get a godly reward. So whether that's true or not, you can figure it out for yourself. But in the meanwhile, back to the elders. So the Word Sound Power Collective, after completing those debates, came to a cohesion and decided to take action. We've been getting reports that elders in Jamaica were having medical issues, and that it seemed that oftentimes there was no one to help them. And the same was happening in Ethiopia. We were hearing reports from Shashamani that various elders were either in poor health or not having proper nutrition, and no medical insurance, no organizations in place to help them. So it was proposed that we should raise some money when these issues came up, and it became an international coalition called the Word Sound Power Collective that raises money to help Rastafari elders and ancients. And to this day, the Word Sound Power Collective has raised somewhere in the neighborhood of $40,000 US dollars for elder support. We recently became a 501c3 nonprofit organization in the US, so that means that donations are now tax deductible. And as such, we're considering going after or trying to get larger corporate donations and grants and things of that nature. But as of today, it's just, hands and hearts coming together across the globe to support the Rastafari elders from a place of love and honor.
So go to the Word Sound Power Collective.blogspot.ca, and you're gonna find this awesome website where you can. There's so many projects of different elders you can help, and it's different examples of, for example, the most recent one is a Bongo Roy that he needs $200 for medical assistance, and so we're just gonna help, and everybody gives a bit of cash, and with $200 he can maybe he can do his whatever surgery or medical help he needs. I can't see it here, but yeah. And for example, the next one, Ras Carlton, lost things in a fire, and so he's in need of help. Anyways, it's a really blessed site. So please visit wordsoundpowercollective.blogspot.ca. Anyways, I'm gonna post it on my Facebook page and on the Alaroots Facebook. Just you have to check this out because this is some righteous work. Yeah, man. So please visit the wordsoundpowercollective.blogspot.ca. Brother Mike, I saw there's one last thing I really want to ask you about, and it's when you go to USA Roots Reggae Collective on Bandcamp, you got these 3 books. Rastafari Itations book.
Yes, the Itations of Jamaica and Rastafari. Yeah.
And so, can you tell me a bit about those books?
Yes. All right. So, those books are written by a man named Millard Ferrisati, or Millard. And I first met Millard when I was living in Florida. He, at the time, was in Miami. And these books were around my crew. Those of us who were young and, I would say, checking for Rastafari, that's how we refer to it. You know, somebody who's got an inkling, but they want to know more. They feel something, but they haven't quite, you know, not really like Rastafari yet. So these books were in the zone, and full color books, poetry, philosophy, lyrics to songs, excerpts from the Bible, Rastafari art, Rastafari reasoning. Very powerful books. That was my opinion at the time. So I used to order some books here and there from Millard, and then I had a bright idea when I finished school that I was going to basically it sounds funny to me now after having children and stuff, but I was going to buy a bunch of Itations, buy a bunch of highly sliced t-shirts, and travel, you know, the country and selling them to stores and bookshops and reggae festivals and stuff. And it actually worked. But at that time, due to the amount of books that I was getting from Millard, I went to Miami to meet up with him and got a big amount of books. And then later, Itation Volume 2 went out of print. And it was out of print for many years. And I always felt that in some ways that book is the heart of the series. It's the yellow one. And in that book, Millard went to Ethiopia, and there was a particular section in that book.
Volume 2?
Yeah, the yellow one.
With the women on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, there's a particular section in that book called the mystical interpretation of the Gospels that is just heights. So, eventually, when I had the means to, I reprinted Volume 2, and so yeah, those books are for sale. They're great. I personally consider them to be part of the spiritual canon of Rastafari, and I'm just excited that they're available and to have been lucky to learn from them.
Cool. Do you also sell or have anything to do with Ras Flacco and the Wisemind publications?
Yes. So Ras Flacco has been writing these Wisemind publications for many years, which are testimonies and stories of the Rastafari elders and ancients. One of the beautiful things about Wisemind publications is that the books that are sold, and at the moment they're all available on download from Wisemindpublications.com. So those monies from those books go right back to the elders and the ancients that that gave their time and their knowledge to those books. So, these businesses like this, and these things have developed through reasoning, but businesses like this that can take what the elders have to offer and so desperately want to offer, and also what the youth so desperately need and want, the wisdom and the wise mind from the elders. So to get that information from the elders to the youths, make the youths pay a little bit of money and support the elders is a really fantastic thing.
Tentawi, Kadamawi, Tentawi, Kadamawi. Yeah, it's a beer, Kadamawi. I am an ancient man, I am an ancient man. Yeah, passion from creation, I am an ancient man. Yeah, I am an ancient man, I am an ancient man. Yeah, passion from creation, I am an ancient man. Yeah, stardust make me who I am. Lightning make me who I am. Thunder make me who I am. The most I make I who I am. Earthquake make me who I am. Hurricane make me who I am. Tornado make me who I am. Fashion like a diamond in the sand. I am an ancient man, I am an ancient man. Yeah, passion from creation, I am an ancient man. Yeah, I am an ancient man, I am an ancient man. Yeah, passion from creation, I am an ancient man. Yeah, well, I was made in depths of darkness, and I was gifted with the calmness. So I've been blessed now through the harvest. You see my home is where my artist. For I could never be heartless, no. And well among the filthy harlots, yeah. And sit there wine up from the goblet. Oh, I rule my temple and my province, I promise. I am an ancient man, I am an ancient man. Yeah, passion from creation, I am an ancient man. Yeah, I am an ancient man, I am an ancient man. Yeah, passion from creation, I am an ancient man. Oh yeah, I am an ancient. Well, I'm an ancient. I am an ancient. Man, a Rasta ancient. I am an ancient. Yes, I'm an ancient. Well, I'm an ancient. Yes, a Rasta ancient. I am an ancient. Man, I am an ancient. This Rastafari, I'm an ancient. I am an ancient. I am an ancient. I am an ancient. Man, I am an ancient. I am an ancient. Man, I am an ancient man. Yeah, passion from creation, I am an ancient man.
Brethren, just so we conclude this interesting interview that I hope people liked. It's a vast subject, the one of Rastafari and reggae music, and I think we kind of like at least put a foot into that lake, that ocean of wisdom that is Rastafari. Anyways, so I would like, if possible, if you can give us just a few words on your what you're going to be working on in the next months, and who you're working with right now, and what's your next projects.
Yeah, sure. So as I mentioned, there's the 2 7-inches that are at press right now.
That we listen to.
Those are, yeah, that's right. We listen to those, and then there will be a 12-inch with another 12-inch with Tenastellan and King Alpha, and we're almost done with the artwork for that. That will be a tune called Rasta Mission and a tune called Animal Rights. That's about treating animals better as a collective of humanity. Big up to Black Art Warriors. Both the sound system and the record label have been partners from the record label perspective for a long time. Big up Ross Amlak. We talked about his artwork and his first release coming. Big up Ross Kush, who has been a mentor for us. Big up to Peter Lionheart and the Understanding crew. Really an incredibly hard-working sound system here in the U.S. that's been touring Europe, Mexico.
Understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, a label we know about, yeah, I think.
Yeah. Some of the rest of these I'll skip over. We've talked about the Word Sun Power Collective.
I see Jashaka.
Yeah. So Josh Shaka's been playing one of our releases, Roll Call. It's a 7-inch, and man, talk about just what an honor, you know.
The one that calls all the tribes.
Yeah, that one.
Word.
That one.
He's
been playing it in London, and he played it at Kingston Dub Club, and there's a nice video of that. Hail up Ja Porter in the Universal Love label. That's a really cool label. What he's doing is similar to what we talked about with Wisemind Publications. He's getting singers to donate their work and producers to donate their music, and then selling it on Bandcamp and giving all the proceeds to charities, different Rastafari charities, Ethiopian charities, Jamaican charities. It's a wonderful blueprint of how to do progressive business, you know, to help.
Ja Porter is in Ethiopia, if I'm not mistaken.
He's not at the moment, but yes, he goes to Ethiopia a lot. Right now he's in Europe.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's a lot of brethren in the U.S., you know, just more strength to Humble Tafari, Seska, Chris Naftali, Slim Rocka, you know, Ross Tio. Yeah. And Sis Naomi on the radio for Article Vibe. She helps a lot.
Sis Naomi.
For her effort. Yeah.
Bless all of the brothers and sisters, and like you were saying, more strength and more blessing. Hey, you know, it's an important day today for I, for Rastafari, because I think it's the day that His Majesty on the 5th of May came back to Addis Ababa after being exiled in UK. If I'm not mistaken, so I think today is the day that His Imperial Majesty came back to Addis Ababa and as a victorious. So it's a day of victory, of good over evil, of African liberation, and of the glory of Jah Rastafari.
Yes, I give thanks.
So I hope the interview was cool. I hope you enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, man, this has been great. We went deeper. We went deeper than I thought, and I mean, we talked a lot, which, you know, and there's so much more that could be said. So, man, I give thanks for your works and for the opportunity to come on here and say some things and play some tunes. And more to come.
Yes, I really give thanks for the opportunity of sharing this conversation. I hope the listeners enjoyed it as well. I hope we were clear enough for them to follow us. I think we were, and I'm really happy to meet you and to just to link up, and it's one great love. It's an honor.
Same way, Alpha D. Give thanks.
All right, my brother.
And love to the world. Yeah.
All right. So have a beautiful evening. You were on Alaroots, and you're one of the first. You're the first label we ever interviewed. So it's a beginning for us. It's all fresh and new stuff. So voila.
Give thanks for the opportunity, Alpha D.
Yes,
One love.
Yes, Akashic Records. Let this interview be marked in the Akashic Records, a day where we spoke great wisdom and love for all of mankind. In the name of His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie I. Aye.
Rastafari.
Aye, brethren. See you soon,
thanks, bro.
and
All right.
take care. Huh?
You too, bro.
If you see hurricane, Jah protect.
For real. All right, brother.
Love, brethren.
Keep some Rasta, man.
This is not his weather. Long sizes like a long day. Wow. Hey. 7 miles of black star liners coming in the harbor. 7 miles of black star liners coming in the harbor. I can see them coming. I see my hydrants running. I hear the elders say, these are the days for which we've been praying. 7 miles of black star liners coming in the harbor. 7 miles of black star liners coming in the harbor.
Return, black man, have you return to Africa? Burn, dingy fire, have you burn. But once when I return, black woman, have you return to Africa? Burn, I have dingy fire, burn. But once when I'm Mount Zion, we are on our way. To the conquering lion, Rastafari, we pray. Never forget the words of Marcus Garvey. Africa, find the Africans without no delay. Organize, centralize the emperor, told the executive. Rise, Africa, rise, burn out the negative. Babylon, let my people go. Repatriation, that's what it is.
Well, 7 miles of black star liners coming in the harbor. 7 miles of black star liners coming in the harbor. Cause it's repatriation, black liberation. I say the time has come. Black men, we're going home, yes. 7 miles of black star liners coming in the harbor. 7 miles of black star liners coming in the harbor.
Big up the high priest, them on the mountain top. Keep the samba totally, keep the culture. No joke about that. Big up the Rasta man, them a Scots pass. Bad mind, have to watch my star line a shot pass. Black people, them need a one leap of ships. A time the Rasta man, them have a fleet of ship. Emperor Selassie teach about leadership. No microchip, no Babylonian sponsorship.
7 miles of black star liners coming in the harbor. 7 miles of black star liners coming in the harbor. Marcus Garvey told us freedom is a must. Told us that the black star liners coming one day for us, oh yeah.
Repatriation right now,
7 miles of black star liners coming in the harbor. 7 miles of black star liners coming in the harbor.
Africa, open up the doors.
Black star liners coming. Black star liners coming. For I and I. Do not regret that biggie bobo shante. 12 tribes of Israel and Orthodox. What are we sitting waiting by the dark side? Yes,
Are you a lion of the eastern star? I have seen this star in the east. For what have you come? I have come to worship you. Yes, I have come. Will you give it to I and I? Yes, I.
Praise of the eastern star. Praise of the eastern star. this star in the east. For what have you come? I and I have come to worship you. Yes, I and I have come. Will you give it to I and I? Yes, I. Choq. Breeze of the eastern star. Breeze of the eastern star. I follow you wherever you are. Yeah, follow you wherever you are. Breeze of the eastern star. Star, 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 star.